Okay, class, welcome to our haunted house virtual lesson. I'm so glad that we have a full classroom today. All right, I'm about to call out roll. All right, first we are going to...
Are we allowed to have our phones out?
No, we already know the school policy. There's no phones out in the classroom.
What about the computers?
No, we're not doing a classroom project. We cannot have our computers out in the classroom. We've already had a student who was written up in the last class period, so I'm not afraid to write up students. All right, Angeline is here. Next we have Toodles Graham. All right. Toodles, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to send you to the office. You're violating the school dress code. We have to wear sleeves. We've already talked about that, okay? Okay, so day one. I'm going to get you to get out a blank piece of paper, and I want you to write on one side. Got it? Okay, so, question one. What would you title the house? If you had a haunted house, what would you name it? I'm going to get you to write that down. And remember to answer the questions and take notes because, again, this is going to be a formative grade. Okay, 2. What house shows the most detail out of these on the screen? And we'll say A, B, C, D, E. I'll let you write that down. Okay. Which house do you think is the scariest and why? Survey says. All right, you write it down. And then lastly, what does the artist do to make it look scary? I'm going to get you to write that down. What details does that artist make? Okay, and while you are doing that, we're going to move to the next slide. Okay, so the artist we're going to learn about today is called David Stabley. This is a current famous artist, and he actually builds houses, ceramic houses. He's worked with clay for over 30 years, and he is fascinated by the mysteries of the universe. Picasso is actually one of the artists that he's inspired by. That's one of the previous lessons that we have done together. He likes imaginative work. His artwork is based on dream work and fantasy, like how we're going to be doing this Halloween stuff, which is pretty interesting. And again, remember to be taking notes. You're doing great. 3D. He makes a lot of his work 3D so his imagination can come to life. And then lastly, detail. A lot of his artwork has detail within its designs. Introducing the artist. Now we're about to watch a video on the artist that we've learned about. So a tip with this is to remember to take notes on the same side of the page. Your drawing will be on the opposite side. Okay? If your first, last name, and class period is not on this paper, I'm going to take away 5 points. So make sure that you have that on there. Good job getting a head start on that. Okay. On the second side of your paper, divide it into 4 sections and draw the 4 haunted houses. When you are done, color them. So flip your paper over. Good job. The vertical and horizontal line like we've talked about. Awesome. And then in each of these 4 squares, I'm going to get you to draw a house. And when you're done, I'm going to get you to color them. You're doing great. Several different kind of creative ideas. Can I see? Awesome. Alright, so now that you've finished your 4 sketches, you are going to color them. And then you're going to decide on the best one with the best color scheme. Okay? Alright, and now the classroom is working on coloring their haunted houses. Alright, so at this point everybody is done coloring their houses. Does anyone want to share with the class? Oh, okay. Why did you pick your themes?
So the first one has a moon, so it's night, so everyone's scared of the dark, so it's night.
Angeline gets a little nervous whenever she has to share with the class.
The
It's
second one
okay.
is haunted.
We might have to retake this video. So by now everybody is done coloring their houses. So does anyone want to share with the class why they drew and colored the way they did? Yes, Angeline.
Okay, so the first one has a moon, so it's like resembling.
That's fine. Keep going.
Darn it. Darn it.
Alright, so at this point everybody has done their 4 house drawings, their haunted house drawings, and they have also colored those drawings. Does anyone want to share with the class of why they picked the topic that they did?
Me.
Yes, Angeline.
Okay, so the first one is a haunted house because there's a ghost. The second one is an abandoned barn because there's a hole in it and there's like blood and the spider coming out.
Oh, okay.
And then the third one is the moon.
Okay.
So you see that it resembles night, and night is scary. Okay, and the last one is a haunted troll house. Like, that troll is evil.
Oh wow, okay. Alright, let me get an up close view. Okay. Alright, so now class, we are going to look at a Venn diagram. We're going to look at the haunted houses, and we're going to look at David Staveley's houses, and we're going to talk about how they are alike, how they are different. Okay? We already know they both could tell a story. They're both out of clay, and they both have details. What are some other things that these houses have in common?
Well, they have in common that both of them can happen at night.
Yes, I can see that because this even has a dark sky with stars in the background.
This one has steps, and this one has steps.
They both do have steps. Some of the houses have steps.
And when it comes to the windows, they're long, just like this one. And both the houses look like they could be haunted.
They both do look like they could be haunted. Actually, this lady right here could even look, I guess you could say, kind of like a zombie because of the grayish, greenish coloring. So that would also go with some of the haunted stuff, with the haunted house theme as well. Alright, and so now we are moving on to day 2. Alright, so today we're going to complete those 4 house sketches that we are working on, that we have been coloring. And we're going to look at the color wheel, and we're going to try to make sure we have some contrasting colors. So if we don't already have that in there, we're going to make those corrections today. We're going to look at the color wheel and find complementary colors. This means that colors are on the opposite sides. And this also can help your colors pop out. We can discuss color schemes that are the best for your artwork. So let's get back out your artwork. Awesome. And let's take a look at it together. Okay, so on here we could make the roof or the bottom, maybe a little bit more orange since we have blue here. Those are opposite sides of the color wheel, so that might help that pop. With this, with it being red, we could add in some maybe green. We could maybe make the troll zombie a green shade, because then it would go well with this house color, because those are also complementary colors, green and red. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and get started on those. On day 4, as well as day 5, this is when the students will be working on their ceramic haunted house. Before this, the students will have finished up their 4 haunted house sketches and their paper 3D version of the haunted house. Okay, on this day, we're going to go back and review the artist David Stabley that we've been discussing in class. We will ask these class questions. How do we make small details appear realistic in our houses? What details are you adding to your house? Remember, it has to tell a story. Remember, you can have an abstract house, but it must come to life. So how are you going to do that? That's important to think about. Okay, and then again, we're going to review the details through slip and scoring. Scoring is literally making hatch marks on the clay, which we can see in this picture right here. Slip is the clay mixed with water. It acts like a paste, and here is it right here. And combine these two, and it helps the clay stick together to form something. So score, slip, stick, and smooth. I know we've already talked about that, but I'm going to talk more on that today just to help it stick in your memory. And then again, make sure you have the hole in the bottom of your house for the light source if you have not already done that. It's important to make sure you have that. And then also in our tips, remember, things like windows will help light escape in your artwork. Alright, so now we have got to the base of the ceramic house. Try your best to smooth out anything that's poking out, stuff like that. And you're going to get your ruler, like Angeline's doing over here. You're going to measure it, and your house needs to be 8 inches tall at minimum, and then 12 inches tall at max. Try to have it between there. And you can make your base. I am making my base kind of more of a circle. That way I can put my house in the middle and have a little bit of outside grass as a base. Some people, like Angeline, might not want to do that. That is entirely up to you, but your house does need to be that height requirement. Alright, she's smoothing out some of her bottom of her base. Alright guys, now that we have measured and cut our pieces of clay, let me see yours. We are ready to get the slip and start hatching the sides and start putting everything together. Alright, so when you are attaching the sides of your house like this, sometimes it helps to have something support up the sides as you build it. Whenever you attach sections like here and here, that means that you need to hatch these sides, so you can get something to hatch like a tool. And hatch these sides of the ceramic sculpture. Alright, you need to get slip, and you need to put it on here. Alright, at this point, after you've hatched and you've stuck them together, it could be helpful to smooth in the sides of the house to make it all go together as one. as you go, and this also could help it stand up, because now you can see that I'm smoothing it together, it's standing up better, and there's no support right here as of right now. And she is still using her support for the side of her house. We are getting there. Alright, so at this point we are starting to have the walls, cutting out little things like the windows, like the door, things like that. And we are about to have the 4 sides of the house complete to be able to move on to more of the decoration kind of side before we get to the roof. Alright, and now we have started doing the sides of the house. Going with the theme. It says, help me. Then here is her window. Angelina, you want to tell us more about it?
There's a piece of wood over it.
Yeah, a piece of wood over it. It's supposed to be like an advantage on her light sources. She's even made a little hand coming out of this window. Getting into it. With the other one, we are working on the windows for the light source. Some people have chosen to make the light source after this, like let it harden, then make the light source at the bottom. Some people want to go ahead and get the hole in the bottom of the house now. Just go ahead and have that part taken care of. That part is totally up to you. Alright. Alright, as you can tell, we are starting to put details on to the houses. She has a spider. She's working on the snake and eyes on the back side. Doing great. Well, I'm glad you could make it back, Toodles, and that your mom brought you more appropriate attire for our classroom. I'll take your infraction form, and I just am going to have to keep it for documentation. Here's an updated video of how the details on my house are going. I've now added a little angry troll, a haunted troll for his scary house. Just coming together. I have one more side left to go. Roof. It is important to remember to decorate that as well. I'm currently working on my roof, and it says watch out for trolls, and it's supposed to be evil little trolls. Alright, well, here is one of the haunted troll houses finished. It's our family but trolls. And then here's the other one. We have a spider web on one side of the house. A haunted tree. You can see the face if you get up close. You gonna tell us about the rest, Angeline?
Yeah, and this says help me, and there's body parts hanging out.
Oh, okay.
And this is the front, and it has a piece of wood over the window.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Thank you.
We're gonna come around to this side of the table so we can see the front side of your house. You did great.
Thank you.
Alright. So this wraps up the ceramic part of this lesson. Good job, class. Alright, class, now that we're all cleaned up and we've had our critiques, Angeline, would you like to share with the rest of the class the critiques that you made on this artwork.
Okay, so we'll start with the front. So I put some more snakes on the top.
All right,
And
let's zoom in. Let's look at her snakes. Yep, we turn those wavy lines into snakes on the top. That was one of our critiques.
And then
Help
we
her with
added
that.
some more vines on the top and like a hole.
Yep.
Make it look more scary.
We decided to make a hole in the top instead of just having it flat. And we decided to bring out some stems from the top.
And then on this side, we added some more hands.
Yes, I see that. I'm really liking the different collage of hands. That's awesome.
And then on this side, we added some more detail to the tree.
The tree does have more detail.
And then on this side, we put some more in the cobwebs.
That's right. We made 2 more. Remember, we made 2 more additional spiders, and we added on to the cobwebs. That was a great job.
Thank you.